Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so into this tutorial, we're going to be implementing the pickup functionality for the bow as well, because right now you can only pick the rifle and the pistol, but you cannot pick up the bow right now. As you can see, we have a little bit of bug there when we pick up. Let me just, yeah, I think it was just for the first time, but as soon as you press F, yeah, we don't have any bugs. All right. So right now we can only pick up the rifle, as you can see right there, and the pistol, or vice versa. But we cannot pick up the bow. Oh, actually, actually we can't pick up the bow. For some reason, I haven't set it up so that we can pick up the bow. But incredibly enough, we could. And that's nice. But let's see if we can equip the bow. So I'm going to press Q. So as you can see, it doesn't. Yeah, it equips the bow, but it doesn't play the animation. So we're gonna have to find out what's happening, and it doesn't show for us in here, as you can see, on the orange text. So it says on the weapon 1, which is the rifle. The second one is the pistol, but it doesn't show us the bow. So we're going to add a new text right now. So I'm just going to go to the sandbox character and go to the debug function and go to the orange text. And then I'm just going to expand this a little bit. I'm just going to add a new sequence. And I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this. Just going to give it a little bit of space before that. And we're going to go from then 3 to here. And I'm just going to change the index of that array. So the maximum weapons that we can have at the moment is just 3. So 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. Because 0, the index 0 is also a number for the array. So we also get that one. And I'm just going to change the owned weapon number to be 3 instead of 2. And that's pretty much everything you got to do. And also the key as well, it has to be 10. But also make sure that the other keys are not the same. So I'm just going to delete this because we don't use it anymore. I think those variables here, those references, we don't use them anymore. We don't use those values anymore. Let me just see. Those macros, we don't use them. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete those macros because we don't use them right now. Let me see what else. So you're going to also delete, let me just see, find references, weapon, pistol. Yeah, these are just names, so you can just delete them without any problem. It says that they are in use. I'm just not sure yet. Yeah, I guess for the moment, we can just let it there. They're not going to... They're not going to disturb us on anything, so I'm just going to let it there. I'm going to go back to our debug function and just press on play to see if the code is being updated. So as you can see, when I pick up the first weapon, in this case, which is the rifle, as you can see, the is valid execution goes through, meaning that we have a owned weapon, which is the rifle child. So I have the rifle child reference inside that array. So if you click on the drop down menu here, you can see all the components that are part of that single actor. Felipe Game said salve. So as you can see, these ones are not yet validated, because as you can see, when I get the index of that array, it doesn't get to be valid because it's not validated yet. That means I don't have that variable yet. But as soon as I pick up the pistol, as you can see, now it's being validated. So if you go to this drop down menu here, as you can see, I have two references, and the index one, it represents the pistol child. If you click on the drop down menu here, you can see all the variables, all the default variables, all the current variables that are part of that class. If you click on the drop down of the rifle, as you can see, the last hosted weapon is true. This is the default value. This is the current value right now, and that is true because that's the last weapon that we have holstered. So that makes a lot of sense. Now I'm going to try to pick up the bowl. As you can see, now it appears three orange texts, which is good, which is a good thing. So as you can see, the third validation node in here is getting validated, and we are printing the owned weapon the third weapon. So as you can see, we are holding the bowl, and you can pretty much see what weapons are holstered on the orange text. So as you can see, weapon 1, which is the rifle, is holstered. The weapon 2, the second weapon, which is the pistol, is holstered, and the bowl weapon is equipped, which is the third weapon. But now when I press Q, as you can see, changes, it plays that animation. I don't know why that animation is not being played, but we're gonna have to figure out why that's not being played. All right, so we're gonna have to figure out what's happening, why the montage is not being played. So I'm going to go back to our weapon pickup drop holster equip logic that we made, and go to the Q function in here. And let's check out the holster phase. So when I pick up the pistol, then when I pick up the bowl, and then when I press Q, this animation here goes directly in there. Not sure yet why that's happening, but DXTX or XNT said yo 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 yo. So if you guys have any questions, I'm able to answer them. And now I'm just going to be solving some bugs. Maybe not today, because maybe I can improve or add new features instead of just solving bugs. Because solving bugs it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of boring time that I'm not going to be speaking. So maybe it's not going to be very efficient for the time spent for the people watching the live. Exist .mp3 said, did you make the animations yourself? No, these animations are either from other packs or from Epic Games and Klab. There are a lot of packs here that I don't even know where where they are. Stygian Leidomir said, could I ask a question that you might know? Yeah, for sure. Go ahead. So let's see. I'm an artist, so no real knowledge of this. But inside the GAS project, the camera has sort of a delay or spring, an exaggeration. The character is running out of frame, which makes it feel sluggish, low, unresponsive, in my opinion. I wanted to stick to the camera there. An easy fix, or is this a complicated subject? I don't really know much about cameras, but yeah, there is the spring arm, which makes the camera to be a little bit slow. If you want to make it a little bit more responsive, you can change the camera lag speed to 0, something like this. But I think the camera now is controlled by the gameplay camera. So as you can see, you have those options here depending on the camera state. So you have the balanced aim, free cam, strafe, balanced strafe. Those balanced, closed, and far means that depending on when you scroll up the wheel of the mouse, you can see that we change the camera style. So you have close, balanced, and far. So you're gonna have to add the respective mode, respective style, depending on what you want to achieve. So maybe when you're strafing and when you're in the balanced camera style, you can change all the offsets, field of view, blah blah blah. But I don't know much about how to change, for example, the camera lag. Oh yeah, notice that we don't have the overlay state of the ball, so we're going to have it. We're gonna have to add that right now. I'm just going to copy this because that's going to be a lot more faster to prototype. So depending if the overlay state enumerator is bowl equals to bowl, we can enter the state of the bowl. Of course, right now we don't have the bowl animation, but we're going to have to make it as well. So we're going to go back to the overlay state in case it's not equal to bowl. So we're going to change that to here. And and we're gonna have to make those states. So I'm just going to open up my my other project. But I'm just going to do something here. I'm just going to add the pistol 1H overlay just to test, to see if we can fix the issue of not being able to equip the pistol, the bow, to holster the bow in this case. So as you can see, we are already in the bow state, but we're using the same pistol overlay. So the character is going to be on the pistol overlay state, but in the bow state inside the core logic. But now when I press Q, as you can see, it equips. So that means that the reason why we couldn't the reason why the holster animation was not playing is because the character would be stuck in the default state. And the reason why it works now when you are in the pistol state is because inside the animations, inside one of these animations in here, we have all these curves which allows the character to play other animation montages that are part of the ALS complex layering system. So we need those curves to be able to play the holster montage, for example. And just remember that we have the equip. In the equip montage, we have the arm right slot assigned to that montage. So just remember that we have that slot so to make it to work. And just see something here. Let me just open up my other project so that we can copy paste and make the bow animations. So as you can see, when I change it to the bowl overlay state, as you can see, we in this case, we're using a linked animation layer. This is another project, by the way, by Polygon's Hive. You can access it in the description down below. But essentially, when you change the overlay states, as you can see, we change the linked animation layer. So as soon as you double click on that, you have the state machine, which then you have all the states in here of how do I change the camera? Oh, there you go. I have to press left alt to change the camera position. All right, that's nice. So I think if I just copy and paste the bowl state machine in there, maybe it's going to crash because of the references. I don't have the right references, but we can try to do that. So I'm just going to firstly save everything and just copy and paste. Yeah, it's probably going to crash. Oh no, it's not. It didn't crash. Okay, that's good. But then we're gonna have to change the references, of course. So this is the project that we're working on. I could successfully successfully copy the state machine. So I'm just going to delete this and plug that into there, and then just compile. And of course, we're gonna have a lot of issues, not as much as I expected, but let me just see how it is inside. So these values here, they are pretty much easy to change. So as you can see, we have the has velocity variable is missing. So I'm just going to get the has velocity variable from here. As we are in the same blueprint, we don't have to retrieve from the sandbox character animation blueprint, which could cost a little bit more on performance. I'm just going to go back and go to the next one. This one is asking for the gate variable, so I'm just going to get the gate variable from here and just connect that to there. So I don't need to do anything else from here. Let me just check out the other ones. Yeah, not do anything else in there as well. I guess that's pretty much it. Everything I gotta do in here we've already done. So now we're just going to change the relaxed poses for now. So in the asset browser, we're going to search for the bowl relaxed pose. So here it's the bowl. I'll just search for bowl relaxed. And in this case, it's the relaxed idle. I'm just going to convert it to single frame animation. I'm just going to plug that right into there. And I'm just going to copy and paste for this one as well. And now I have also the crouch relax. So we're just going to delete this two and convert to single frame animation and plug that directly in here. We also have the crouch move relax, but I think we don't have that variable right now. So I'm just going to plug the idle, the posable crouch relax, the same one for the idle pose. But if you have the animation for the moving pose, it's going to be better. I don't know why we're having the warning, but this is asking for the movement state. So I'm just going to get movement state. As you can see right here, we can just plug that directly in there and just compile. No problem. And here is going to ask for the stance. As you can see, you can also see there in the title here. So I'm just going to get the stance enumerator and just directly plug that into there. Just compile. There you go. Now here's going to ask for the movement state, which is the same one from here. So I'm just going to copy and paste that to here. I'm also going to get the gate for this one. So I'm just going to get gate and plug that directly into the active enumerator value. And here we need the pose, stand, walk, relax. So we have the walk and the sprint. Oh, actually we have the walk, run, and sprint. So I'm just going to drag them over into the graph. I'm just going to convert everything into a single frame animation. And I'm just going to delete those that are in here. And first of all, I plug the walk into the default pose and the run into here and the sprint. All right. All right, looks like it worked, and we're ready to go to move on to the next state. Now we're going to go to the ready state, and we're going to do pretty much the same thing. If you can just copy everything from here to not, redo everything again. It pretty much looks like it's the same structure. If you take a look side by side, it's very much the same enumerators, movement state, gate. So I'm just going to delete all of it and just plug that into here. Now we just got to change the, all we need to change right now is just the animations. So instead of just the bow, stand, relax, we're going to use the ready. So I'm just going to change to the ready in here and this one as well. This one is the crouch. So this is the bow, stand, ready move. And let me just see how is the relaxed. All right, it's a little bit different. Ready move. All right. So it looks like everything's good in here. Now it's just the aiming part that we need to do. I'm just going to get the AO value directly from here. I'm going to split the structure, and then I'm going to get the Y value because that's what matters for us. We're getting the aiming values to work. Now I have the AO stand aim sweep. I have no idea which variable, which animation that is. Let's just see. Just see bow sweep. So I have the stand sweep, which is this one right here. So I think that's what we want. So we're going to type bow sweep and just plug go and convert that to single frame animation. And from here, we're going to connect them into here. As this is a additive, we're going to connect that to the additive input of this node right here. And this is the crouched one, so I'm just going to do the same thing, just drag and drop into the graph, convert it to the single frame animation, and just get the same return value from this one as well, and then plug that to the additive input of that node. As you can see, we also have a lot of variables to switch. So I'm just going to copy all those variables to just make it faster to prototype. So the stance is going to be in here. The movement state is going to be in here as well. The movement state up below also needs to be there, and then just compile. As you can see, the arrows, the warnings are going to go away. Now we're just going to start filling up the values as we did for the other one. So I'm just going to type bow aim, and here you can see we can have the bow stand aim idle. There we go. And we're just going to copy and duplicate them 2 times and plug that to the idle pose and the other one to the default pose. Now the walk and run, we also need to make them to be here. As you can see, as you can notice, we don't have the bow run, walk, different modes, but we only have the bow stand aim move. So that's the one that we're going to plug it into here. Now we also have the crouch poses. So I'm just going to duplicate, delete. Put them in here. So that's pretty much it. Now let's test it out to see if it's going to work. I'm still worried about the states here because we get the current state time of the SM overlay pose. So you need to be careful when changing the state machine name, because if you change the state machine name to something else, other thing instead of SM overlay pose, you need to make sure that the same name applies to the current state time to this nodes right here. So this nodes, when you change the name of the state machine, automatically these nodes are not updated as well. So you need to make sure that the names they match. So in case you have any bugs related to this, to the state machine is not reading, or this states, this float values here not changing, it's probably because you changed the name of the. It's probably because the names they don't match. So you just need to make sure that that's in place. And yeah. So right now I'm just going to test it out to see if it's going to work. So I'm just going to debug this and pick up the rifle. It doesn't need to be in the water, but I'm going to pick up the bow. I mean, it looks good, but I think the I'm gonna have to correct the arm's position. But now the holster animation also plays, which is great. Before it wasn't playing, just because we didn't have the state for the bowl set up yet. So that's why we had that bug. But now it's fixed. And as you can see here, the last holstered weapon is BP bow, which is working great. We can already know which weapon is the last holstered one. Let me just see how the bow is placed in the ALS. So it looks like the character holds the bow with his left arm, which is not the case for our system. The character holds the bow with the right arm. So we're going to fix that right now, but unfortunately we don't have the animation for the character to pick up something with the left arm, but that's not an issue right now. That's not something we should worry about right now because that's an easy fix. We could just replace the montage and that's no problem. There is no secret. But if you have the left, the animation of playing, the animation of the character picking up an item with the left hand, you can just replace that animation in there. So in this case, if you want to change the weapon pickup animation, as you can see on this blend space, the character only picks up the something with his right hand. And in that case, we would need to have another blend space, which the character picks up something with his left hand, with his left arm, right? And that's something that we should need. So for now, we don't really need to worry about this right now. We can go to the sandbox character and we can type bow and bow. So I'm just going to delete this socket. We don't need that socket. So I'm just going to type hand L and not hand, yeah, hand underscore L. I'm just going to right click on it and add a new socket. Oops, I think I crashed. Just by adding a new socket, I crashed. I think I was pressing some key that made it crash. But I'm gonna see. yeah, my engine just completely freezed. Oh, there we go. And now we're going to add the bowl socket in here. Just going to name it bowl. And just wait for the engine to do its thing. All right, now I'm going to add the preview asset, which is going to be the bowl. Then we're going to place the bowl into his hand, and then just simulate. Oh, it's lagging a lot today. I'm not sure why it's lagging. All right. So now I'm going to just click on the socket and then just place it into here. I'm just going to right click on the socket and remove all attached assets so that we don't see any asset in the characters mesh attached to it. I'm just going to save everything. Now I'm just going to add the bowl again. And then just wait. Let's see something here. As you can see, we have a overlay bowl that is already in place in here. So I'm just going to copy its values in here. So I'm just going to copy relative location and go back to here and then just paste. And then do the same for the relative rotation, just copy and paste. Hopefully it doesn't crash. The Big Joe asked a quick question. Does your pickup system only reaches for the gun when it's on the ground? Or does it work when it's on the table? Yeah, it works on the table as well. So if you put it on the table, so let's say this ball is on the table like this. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, it was just compiling. All right. What? I have no idea what happened. I'm just restart the project. All right, so when you're in the table, as you can see when you press F, the character also picks up on the table as well. It just doesn't pick up when something's very high, for example, right here. So, but if that's the case, then you can just add the animations into the blend space so that the character can pick up into higher distances. So as soon as you press F, the trace is going to identify. Of course, you also need to, if you have the animations for picking up things on the top, like on this one right here, you have to do two things in the code. Actually, it's just one. It's just to increase the height of the box trace. As you can see, it doesn't reach. When you press F, the box trace is not going to detect. So you need to change the height, increase the height of the box so they can reach it can reach and be able to detect the ball. And the other thing that you need to do is just add the animations into the blend space so that the animation plays correctly. So all I need to do now is just copy the name of the hand elbow. Just lower this down a little bit. So when I press F, so you can see the bow is not correctly attached. So I'm just going to fix that right now. Go to the bow child, character equip socket. We're going to change it to hand elbow. So that's the equip socket. The holster socket is the same one as in the spine. So I'm just going to, there we go. Now the ball seems to be correctly attached. That's looking very nice. The Big Joel said, "Did you use IK or strictly just animations?" Yeah, just animations. I didn't use any IK for now. I'm not using any IK for now. we're just doing the core logic. The IK would be just for the refinement part, which is not, which shouldn't be something that could be very complex to make. So for now, what matters is just the core logic first, then we can do the small refinements. But IK in this case could be very, very good. Could make the system to work 100% great and even better, to look even better than it actually currently is. Because with IK, the hands could reach exactly where the item is, wherever, whatever they are. So that's going to just complement the system with a very good refinement. I'm trying to pick up the rifle right now. There we go. Pick up the pistol. There we go. Holster the pistol. There we go. Equip. So it's going to equip the last holstered weapon. Holster again. There we go. Now drop. There we go. Equip. There we go. Drop. No, I pressed the wrong key. So drop is the G key. There we go. Equip. There we go. Drop. There we go. If I try to equip, nothing happens. I don't have any weapon owned. If I try to drop, it doesn't happen anything because I don't have anything. So the system is working very much fine. For those who have access to the project, you can just test it out to see if you have any bugs. You can contact me, so I can try to fix it on the live stream. So do you guys have any questions related to anything? I'm just going to do some small refinements before I go. So be free to ask. So if anyone is wondering how you can organize those variables, so as you can see when you straight go to the sandbox character, as you can see, if you scroll down, you're going to see a bunch of variables. It looks very, very not organized. So if you want to organize those things, those variables into categories, as it is right now, because so as you can see, we have other, I would say between quotes, hidden variables that we don't see as long as you click on the category. So so you have a lot of categories, and the first one is the input. So which we have those variables in here, character, input, state. So they are separated by categories. So as you can see on the right side, the details panel, you're going to be able to see that the that this variable is into the category of input. If you click here on the drop down menu, you're going to see a lot of other categories that you can define for that variable. So what we're going to do here, we're going to separate the categories. So as you can see, we have also the category movement, and you also have those variables. So for the movement, I have just one variable, which is the block movement input. So I'm just going to move that variable to the input related category so that it goes to the input, because this variable is as soon as I enable that variable to be true, if the player presses any movement input key to make the character to move to any direction, it's not going to work. So you're just going to block the player movement input. So that's going to cause it to not make the character to move, even though the player is pressing the key to move to make the character to move. So if this variable is true, that means that the movement input is blocked. All right, let's see what else. So is pressing aim is part of the input. So we're just going to select that to be input, the category. Let me just see what else there is in here. Weapon state found. I think that's pretty much it. Now, if you want to create a new category, I don't know what's the pronunciation, but let's say let's create a new category called weapon, and then I'm just going to move. I'm just going to move all the related variables to that category. So those variables here we don't use, but somehow they are referenced somewhere in the code. I don't know. just going to delete and just try to solve the issues that could come, but surely there's not going to be any issues. So when you compile, save, I think if you press on play, there's no issues, as you can see. Well, let's see what's the problem here. Why? Oh yeah, separate references. Oh, okay. So that's where they were being used. Separate references, but we don't need this anymore. So I'm just going to, and I think we don't need that variable name to a weapon pickup. So as you can see, if you find references and by name, as you can see, you only have that variable which is not needed. So I'm just going to delete that variable in here first, and then in here in the variable list. So we don't need this collapsed graph anymore. So when I press play, everything works great. There you go. Just doing a little bit of cleanup. Munawar said hello. Hello. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this tutorial. I guess there's nothing much to say or to do. I guess the system is very much done. I don't know what we could add next, but probably do some cleanups, some blueprint cleanups, and start to work on the inventory system. Because right now, when you press on play and get the weapons, if you holster, now you don't. Now you have 2 weapons holstered, but if you want, let's say if you want to press 1 and you want to pick up the pistol, for example, so you could just press 1 and pick up the pistol, or 2 to pick up the rifle. So we need to kind of manage how that's gonna work. So that's going to work, so that we can make a little bit of the inventory system part, and it's going to make the system to be a lot faster. You know, basically be able to pick up the weapons faster, and I'm going to base in The Last of Us 2. The inventory system works really great. I think we need to do something inside the bold child. Go to the box. Yeah, I don't know why the character just stepped up on an invisible box, but I think it's because of this box right here. It's synced in the ground, so that's why it's causing the bug. No idea. yeah, so I guess that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And I see you next time.